I've had this done, it still amazes me every time for some reason. Good morning, here we are again. We coming off the farm this morning. So last night I got interrupted at Sonic when I was getting my food, and I panicked and I was like, okay, this is it. I'm gonna close out this video. I'll see y'all later, bye. Because I had that guy coming. With my food, and I had to hurry up, and I had the camera in one hand, and I needed to grab the food from him. So I got home last night, obviously. And yep, we are headed over to this Saturday morning, headed over to the truck. I got some things I've been putting off. Need to do a little bit of organization to the truck, and I'm going to attempt to run new coax from my CB through the factory grommet. I stopped and got some new coax last night. I'm going to run that factory coax. I know y'all don't know me from Adam, but I have a background in CB radios and ham radio. I'm a ham radio license holder, general. I got my general license, and CB radio has been, and ham radio has been a big part, more so CB radio, but it's been a big part of my life ever since I was about 14, I guess. I've always been around CB radios because my grandpa always had one because he drove a truck. So I'm just going to forewarn you, my battery, I was sitting here looking at I forgot to charge my camera last night, so it might go dead. If it does, I'll get back, but just give you a little update what I'm doing this morning. So anyway, yeah, so I always had a radio. I always had CB radios growing up. My first radio was we had an old Sears Craftsman riding mower, and it was metal. It had a metal hood, on it, and I had a magnet mount antenna on it, and I would pull it out of the garage and sit out there in the yard and talk on the CB. I had a little CB hooked up to the battery on the mower, and I'd sit out there and just talk to some of the local guys there, and it just, for some reason, it always stuck with me, and I haven't been in it as much as in the last 2 or 3 years. I kind of died off of it, but it's still in me. And having this, I run a Striker 955 in my truck, and it's actually a derailed Wolfman CV Shop tuned radio that I've got a lot of money in, and I've been running it on the factory coax. So I've had to turn everything down, the wattage, everything down on it, because I didn't, my SWRs are about a 1.7, 1.8, so I just kind of talk on it when I need to. So I'm gonna stop and got some new coax last night, and we're gonna attempt to get it through the factory grommet. Got it run by the bank this morning, and get some cash, and then we will be headed over there to work on the truck. I'm gonna see how that goes. But the guy that I know up in Knoxville, Jersey, from the CB, there's a CB shop at the TA in Knoxville, Tennessee. I stopped in there last night and got some coax from him, and he was telling me how easy it was to replace the coax. So he told me what I needed to do in that W9, so to be able to run it through the factory hole, the factory grommet and stuff. So that is what we're doing this morning. So I've been playing with the dogs this morning. Got to see my little Yorkies. Played with them, and now we're just out riding around in the Gladiator. getting some miles on it because it sits a lot now. Don't get driven near as much as it used to, so just out driving it around, getting the tires moving, getting the battery charging, all the fluids flowing, and yep, that's what we're doing. So anyway, I'm gonna run some errands and then head over to the truck. Maybe I might film some of it, I don't know. Depends on how good it goes, if it goes in my favor or not. So, but after I get it in, I'll show you how I tune my antennas and what machine I use to tune my antennas, and to make sure to try to get everything down as close to one flat SWR as I can. So, alright, that's all I got to say about that. We are en route to the truck via the gas station and the bank. We'll catch y'all back. I see you. Alright guys, little update. I'm over here at my truck. I was just going to tell y'all, for anybody that has a W900 and you got this pull out tray in the center, you know, so what you got to do is you got to take the 4 bolts. There's 4 bolts that hold this tray, like the pull out tray right there. There's 4 bolts that hold this tray. They bolt right here, which you can get to from the front, and then this one back here is from, you got to go under it, which you can get to it once you pull your tray out. And then you take the wood, there's like a piece of wood trim that goes all the way across here, and you'll take these bolts out, which bolt right here, and then you don't have to take all this down. It's just this piece, and then you can get it down far enough to where you can pull this grommet. There's a grommet right here, and you want to hold on to that because you want to still use it. You want to run your new coax through this grommet, and then that way you can put the grommet back in there. But you're able to run your hand up in here, and you can somewhere right there, you can see my finger sticking through right there, so you can run your new coax through there. Just make sure you hold on to this grommet so you can. And the reason I'm doing this is because I have this factory coax is probably a single shielded coax, and you really want double shielded coax, and that helps. It may not take it away, but it helps with like engine noise from LED lights, which is what I'm having a problem with. My LED watermelon lights. It'll help with that, but if that don't take it away, then you'll have to either get some ferrites to put either on your power cord to your radio, or your power cord's going to your lights, one of the two, and it'll take most of that noise out. But right now, without my lights on, I have about a 2 or 3 noise level. When I turn my LED lights on, it goes up to about a 7 or 8 noise level, so you can't hear nothing. So this is something that needs to be done, and I'll just, if I ever get out of the truck, I'll just leave it in there because, you know, whoever gets in it next will need it. So anyway, and I bought some mini 213 coax, which I've never even seen before, but I don't even know where I put it at, but it's in here somewhere. Oh, it's in my side box. But anyway, I'll give you an update here in a minute. Another one with the tuning and what antenna I'm using and the coax I'm using and all that good stuff. We'll see you. All right, so this is the coax that I'm using. It's made by Driver Extreme. I actually don't know what the coax branding is. I don't know, it may be Belden, I don't know, but it don't say. But this 213 is what I used in a lot of applications up to about, shoot, I can't even remember, man. I've ran I've ran 2,000 or 3,000 watts through regular 213, but this is called M213, which is mini 213. I've been seeing this in the stores, and I've never, there's the details on it if you want to pause it and look or whatever you want to do, but so I've never used one of these coaxes where you run this through. I've always ran the coax through and then sorted on the ends, but this is one of those, take that sticker off. This is one of those deals where you run it through and then it's threaded and you put the other end on it. But the reason I'm not 100% positive on that. We'll see how that works. I'm not going to be running any power through it. It's just going to be the radio. But this center conductor right here, this is the normal size of 213 coax. This is what carries your signal to the antenna, and then the outside here is just the grounding. Everything in between that is shielding. This white stuff down in the bottom is shielding. So this is actually a double shielded. So it's got the white foam, the isolator, and then it's got a tin, and then it's got a braid grounding and shielding. So it's a little bit bigger than, I don't know, it's not much bigger, but you can kind of tell the difference there. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be using. We're going to try this out. We're going to try it out and see how it does. So, alright, there's the coax that I'm using. My antenna that I'm using is actually up against the Jeep right there. I'll tell you about it here in a minute. So, it's actually made from a guy in Georgia. So, I'll get back with you. Alright, so we got the coax pulled through. I was going to show you something real quick. So, this is the center conductor on the, this is the stock coax. You can't even hardly see the center. I don't know if you can see that or not, but you can see the kind of the center in there, the little bitty copper wire in the center. It's got like 5 copper wires, so that's what's carrying your signal. Versus that is what's carrying your signal. So, yeah, we're going to take these zip ties off, re-zip tie it, make it look like it came factory, and hopefully get rid of some of this crazy ass noise that I got here. So we're going to pull this through, zip tie it up. Oh, and we got to put the grommet on too. So we got this grommet that goes over the coax. So another update. Alright, so I did not split, I didn't drill this out or anything. I forced it on there. And this coax is significantly, I don't know what I've done with the piece that I took off of the factory coax. But it is significantly, I don't know what I've done with it, but it's much smaller. Let me see. Here you go. So you can see the difference. But that's the grommet that was on there, and I just forced it over the end, and I'm gonna run it all the way up to where it needs to be. Should have a really good seal on it because it is on there super tight. So, and you can see right here, double shielded M213. I don't know the specs on this coax, but it's got to be better than factory. I got this from the TA up in Knoxville, Tennessee at the CB shop. I don't actually know what the name of his CB shop is, but his name is Jersey. Go in there and see him, man. He's a real good guy. He's been around CB radios for a long time. He's not one of these hack job CB shops that's trying to, you know, scam you out of money or whatever. So he's a pretty good dude. So go in there and see him. Tell him Mr. Clean told you to. That's what I go by on the radios, Mr. Clean. Tell him, go in there and tell him he don't sponsor me and nothing. I paid full price for this, but just go in there and tell him if you need a. Good CB shops are few and far between. Hell, CB shops are few and far between, period. So if you need something done to your radio and you're in the area, I'm gonna try to slide this back up over this, but this is actually, oh no, this is the part on the outside, yeah. So I'll slide this back, but yeah. Go in there and see if you need something for your radio. If anybody's still running a radio, go in there and talk to him. Tell him I sent you. All right. Next step, you see this has got threads on it. So they leave this off. I'm gonna see if I can set the camera up, because I don't know if I can do this with two hands or not, or one hand. All right, so my battery may go dead. So they leave threads on this, so after you get it ran through the hole, because it won't fit through the hole with this. So, and he did tell me when you're putting this on, just to screw it on, I guess I'm gonna have to call him and find out, but you just screw this end on, and he said not to use pliers, so I'm not really sure how you're supposed to tighten it, but I will find out. He said don't use pliers on it, so I don't know how that's supposed to stay tight, but I mean it's pretty tight, but there you go. You got your end. And of course it's got places where you can put a wrench on it right here, and then right here on this piece where you can kind of snug it, but I wouldn't torque it down or nothing. So yes sir, there we go. Now I'm gonna run this out. I got another mount I'll show you in a minute. I got another mount that I'm gonna put on. It's a Star Gun mount. It's also a guy made some out of Mississippi. It's probably one of the best mounts in the business. Very heavy duty mount. It will hold any antenna you want to put on it. Literally any antenna you want to put on it. I'll show you in a minute. So let me get this everything wrapped up in here, and then we'll get to the mount and the antenna. All right, now for the behemoth. So I don't know if you can see this or not. Probably not. Star Gun antenna. He's out of somewhere Mississippi, but it's called TULLOS Electronics. Stargun.cc. Oh, Star, Mississippi. This mount right here, it's a puck mount on a mirror mount bracket. It's got the 239 or PL259 connectors. And he also sells them with the split where you got the bolt here and then you ground over here. But this mount will hold anything that you want to put on it. As long as you got it bolted to something that will take it, it'll hold anything you want to put on it. So this is the mount that I'm using. I mean, you can see it's you know, pretty big. So fixing to get that put on now. And I just spoke to Jersey up there at the CB shop. He said he likes putting blue Loctite on those ends that I screwed on. And because of, you don't want to mess up the threads when you're tightening them up and they might break or anything. So he just hand tightens them and then puts blue Loctite on them. And it does the trick. So, all right, on to the next one. All right, one other thing here as far as the parts that I'm using. I got the mount put on. It's not, I gotta go by the hardware store and get some other bolts, some more bolts and washers and stuff. I didn't have another one or anymore, so, but this is the antenna. It looks a lot like the Predator 10K antenna. I'm sure y'all are familiar with it. It looks to be about a 12 or 13 inch shaft. I can't really tell. I'm pretty sure it's a 12. And this is made by a guy in Georgia. He used to be out in Washington State, and he moved. I think it was Washington State or Oregon, and he moved down to. He lives somewhere around Atlanta, north of Atlanta, or maybe south of Atlanta, somewhere around Atlanta. But he hand makes these, like with his CNC machine, and he's not fast. You got to wait. If you're in a hurry, don't even call him, because he's on his own schedule. And if you want an antenna from him, you have to wait. So, but he makes mobile antennas, base antennas. I mean, antennas that will take literally anything you want. I'm talking 100,000 plus watts, if that's what you want to put through them. And yes, there's people that run that many watts, over that many watts. Hard to believe, I know, but there is. Just trust me. Take my word for it. Been in it for a long time, I know. So, anyway, we're going to get this antenna on. We're going to get the rig expert put on it, which is up here in the bunk. See what my SWRs look like and everything. And it's raining today, so it's not really the best day to be doing this, but we'll see what happens. Again, it's going to be better than factory. So, all right. Another update. My battery's about to die. I need to find a charger for this thing. I'll see. Alright, guys. I charged my battery a little bit, but not much. So I'm going to show you the meter that I use. This is a Rig Expert A835 Zoom. It'll tell you everything you need to know about your coax, your system, everything. So we're fixing to hook this up for the first time. I ain't even screwed the coax in yet, but we're gonna check it just initially, just to see, just to kind of see what's going on with it before we even. And I always try to straighten the coax where there's no loops in it, at least for the initial checking, just to see here. So, alright, I'll be right back. We're gonna hook it up and see what happens. Actually, you know what? We'll just do it right here. I'm hoping for a decent starting point. My GoPro battery is at 35%, so I mean 15%. So you just screw the coax into this, you turn it on, and then we'll see how bad it is or how good it is. So right now we're looking at 27,187, which is pretty much channel 19, and we got 2,500 frequent channels above and below. So right now we're sitting at a 2.71 on channel 19 pretty much, and our lowest channel is 25,237, which is down below the standard band. So we're going to take the antenna stinger down. You always chase your SWRs. If your SWRs are lower in the band, you want to, you can see the dip right there. That's your low point. So 1.13, that's with the door open. Let me see if it changes any. Believe it or not, shutting the door will change it a little bit because it's seeing the door. See, it dropped down to 1.06 on 25,187. So that's about 2,000 channels below where we want to be. So we're going to raise that, set the antenna down some. We're going to trim it and see what happens. I'll catch you back. All right, guys. So we got everything done. I didn't record everything, but I got some pictures that I took of the meter that I'll put in right here, and if you know what you're looking at, then you'll know what it is. But if I can figure out how to put it like in the background where I can point at it, I'll do a voiceover or something. But anyway, so they got down to a 1.5, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, somewhere around there. Or 1.43, 1.44, 1.45 is what I meant to say. the ohms are really high. They're like 60 ohms, 65, 70 ohms, 67 I think, but it's a whole lot better than, see, on my meter it's showing like a 1.4, but on the striker meter, so I know this is how most of y'all read your SWRs, and not with a rig expert. So I'll show you this way. So before, my SWR on here on this was up there at about a 1.8 to a 2 sometimes, and now when I key up, I'll do a little test. You can see the SWR is your meter on the very bottom. It's just got one little bar lit up.
Oh, see, like right now, it's got one little bar lit up right there. So that means, according to this striker, it's like a 1.011, which is not technically right, but it's really about a 1.4 according to my rig expert. So you can't really go by the CB radio SWR meters on here. So, but that's what it's saying. So that just means it was even higher than that, because it was saying about a 1.1. I mean a 1.8 to 2. So it probably was more like a 2.5. So right now we're looking at about a 1.1. Got one little bar lit up right there on the very bottom. You can see it right there. One little bar. So that'll work.
That'll work. Yep. So I'm happy with that. Just a little quick thing. After I get everything tidied up, I'll show you. You can kind of see the deal out here. It's on. I put it on the passenger side just because I don't like. I've always put them on the passenger side. I don't like the antenna, especially. I'm used to running a lot of power, or not a lot, but you know, anywhere from 1,000 watts, 1,200 to 1,500, somewhere in there in a truck. I just don't like all that being right, the coax running right there. And usually too, your ECM for your trucks and your dash is usually somewhere in this area, whether it be on the firewall or on the I just turned this truck on to charge my battery up. Whether it be on the firewall or inside somewhere, the ECM is usually, or not really necessarily ECM, but stuff that can get into your computer when you're running that high wattage stuff. Anything over 500, 600 watts. If you're running that in a big truck, you want to always try to keep your, number one, you want to always run really good shielded coax, something that's going to give you a good protection to keep it out of your components in your truck. If you key up your radio and you're coming through your AM FM radio, that's not because you have a high power radio. All right, let's just get that out of the way. I don't care what anybody told you, that's not because you have a high power radio. It's probably more than likely your coax, the shielding on your coax, or where you have your antenna mounted, or both of your shielding of your coax and where you have your coax ran. So anytime I ever ran big power in a truck, I always ran it. I would run the coax from the radio, and I would put the box out under the bunk or something, in the side box or something, and I would run my coax out of there, and then try to keep it as far away from the from anything that it could get into, which is usually on the passenger side. So if I was running, if I had like a like I have a sits pill that'll do about, with this radio, it'll do about around 2,000 watts. Peak, it'll do about 800, 900 watts. Probably around eight, anywhere from 7 to 850 or something, average, not peak. Peak watts around 2,000. That I could probably put right here and mount it up underneath there and maybe get by with it. I doubt it, because then I would have the coax ran with all the power going through it out just right here. And it actually might work, but it would probably come through, because where this speaker is, the coax, I don't care what kind of shielding you got. When you're running coax that close to the speaker, that's what I was saying. it can be your coax shielding, it can be where you have your coax ran. They play together. So most of the time it's one of those two. It's not because your radio's powerful, trust me. I've ran 2,000 watts in a truck and I can have the AM FM on and it never comes through it. So if you got those kind of problems, you need to reroute your coax or get better coax, better shielding, double shielding or something. 213 is what I like to run in a truck. So anyway, I didn't forget what I was getting at, but you know, usually in this truck, you know, in this day and time, I probably won't put the sit spill in here because, you know, number one, I don't want a bunch of wires running in here messing with all that stuff. And then you gotta have like a remote wire where you can turn the box on and off. If you mount it somewhere else, then you get more wire. It's just these days and time, nobody talks on the radio. I would like to be able to talk skip on 28 and 11, you know, maybe, or 20 or something, but this day and time, man, people just don't talk on 19. So I'm not really worried about having the biggest radio in the truck stop like I used to be. So if I had power in a big truck, it was a talk skip, and that was it on channel 28 usually. So anyway, if y'all have any questions, man, if I can't answer it, I know people that can answer it. I'm not a CB technician. I don't work on CB radios. I have no idea how to work on a CB radio, but I have, with the help of a good friend of mine, we have put CB radios. We've drilled holes in roofs. We've done anything from a barefoot radio to running, you know, tens of thousands of watts. I'll put it that way, out of a mobile. So as far as tuning antennas and stuff like that, like I know I could get this antenna down better than a 1.4 if this was my truck. I would run some ground strap up to it down to the frame. It needs better grounding. It's probably it's on this mirror bracket, and it's not really seeing as good a ground as it could. But it's seeing enough ground for what I need it for. So if I was going to be running big power, I'd have more ground wire up there to it. And so there's some other things, you know. I would put my sit spill. If this was my truck, I'd probably have my sit spill in here. I got a straight sits 2879 box that I would probably put in here. So, but we'll see, you know, we'll see how this works. This is a big change for me. So I'm kind of excited to go trucking again now with my radio. So I gotta tidy up, man. This truck's a mess. It's raining out here, and where I was stepping in and out trying to tune the antenna. Oh, I was going to show you. So when you're tuning an antenna, you're cutting the stinger, and I'm trying to figure out what I've done with those. Oh, they're right here. So when you're tuning an antenna, you're basically taking the stinger out, you're cutting it. Like I said, if the SWRs are lower, if you're on channel 19 and you don't have a big fancy SWR meter, you got just one of the normal ones, and you check them on channel 1 and they're lower, your stinger needs to go down. I'm trying to get these pieces out of the floor. I'll put them down here so I can show y'all. So, and you don't want to cut big pieces, because this is something that you always remember that I was told. You can always cut more off, but you can't add more. So, you know, don't cut too much, like on the Wilson antenna or Predator, or, you know, whatever antenna you got. You can tune any antenna pretty much. But I'm going to put these in some kind of order right here so you can see. You'd be able to tell when I started getting close to where I wanted it to be, as low as I could get it, which was about a 1.4. And that's still not ideal. So these are not in perfect order, but you can kind of tell. So that's how many cuts I had to do on the antenna. And I started out with the big one, and then it went down. I cut them down, you know, as I got closer to where I wanted. Then the final cut, I just made that little bitty final cut there just to get to try to see if I could get it down just a little bit more, and it didn't go down. It actually started to go. It went up from like a 1.42 to a 1.44, I think. So it actually went up a little bit. So I just left it right there. I got you know, about a 1.4 on all 40 channels. So that's good enough for me. And just remember, starting out, I started right here on the right. My hands are dirty, but I've been working. But I started right here on the right, and I went down. As I got closer to where I wanted to be, I was shooting for channel 19 because that's the channel I stay on all the time. But typically, you want to start. You want to, if you're trying for 1 through 40, you want to tune your antenna for channel 20. That'll give you equal amounts on both sides, down to channel 1 and up to channel 40. So, but I tuned mine to 19, it's close enough, 19, 20, whatever. That's the channel I stay on, is 19. So this is not a very in detail video or nothing, but it's just kind of what I was doing today, and I wanted to kind of show y'all. But I'm more than happy to answer any questions you have, and I'll try my best to answer them the best of my knowledge. If you have any questions about radio, because I think if you're in a truck, I think you should have a CB radio in your truck, and that's just, and nobody will ever tell me different. Nobody will, or not tell me different, but nobody will ever convince me that it's okay not to have a CB radio in your truck, because you are driving an 80 foot, 75, 80 foot long vehicle at, up to 80,000 or sometimes over 80,000 pounds, and you could come up on something at any time. You could be in fog, rain, you know how it is in bad weather, traffic, somebody gets sideways in front of you, then, what are you going to do? You can't stop. Where if you have a radio, most of the time people are on the radio telling you, hey, we're stopping up here, or if you got something going on with your wheel bearing on your trailer and you can't see it, but it's smoking, and somebody's trying to tell you, hey driver, you shit smoking back here, you need to get to the side and get it pulled over. If not, you guess what? You keep going because you don't know, and then you burn your trailer down. So there's just so many reasons why. That's why truck drivers nowadays, that's why drivers are so antisocial when you see them in a truck stop, because we have no communication. We don't communicate with each other at all, at all. I don't care if you're white, black, Chinese, Indian, Mexican, whatever. Put a damn radio in your truck. I mean, if I was a millionaire, hell, I would just tell you to leave a comment and I'll ship you one, but I can't. I can't buy everybody radios, but you can get them cheap, okay? You can get radios cheap. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars on a radio. I just wish that everybody would go back to having a radio in their truck, even if it's just, just to say, even if you want to cuss somebody out for doing something stupid, you can't even do that no more. There's no communication out here, man. There's just none, and it's terrible. It's terrible. And it's sad, because we're all out here doing the same job, and we need to stick together a little more, communicate with each other a little more. So anyway, I'm going to get all this button back up and try to get this truck cleaned up, wipe my floor mats down. I've done muddy water in here on my floor mats, and it's driving me insane. So I need to get this wrapped up, and I'm going to make a video out of this, and it'll be a shorter video, but I'm going to do that because I need to put some more informational videos out, and it just so happened this is what I was doing today. So this was on my to-do list. So I'm going to enjoy my weekend. I'm done. This is all I wanted to do this weekend. I was going to put my lights on my bumper, at least get them mounted, but I ain't going to mess with it because it's raining. So I'll wait till I get back up to La Crosse and do that. So I got laundry to do, and other than that, I'm gonna go relax. So y'all have a good weekend. If you're out on the road, be careful. Stopping by your radio. Stop up there and see Jersey in Knoxville, Tennessee. Tell him I sent you, Mr. Clean. I don't get any discount or nothing, but just tell him I sent you for the heck of it. And buy the cheapest radio he's got. Buy a Cobra 19, buy a Cobra 25, buy something. Just stick it in there. And most of y'all have radios in your trucks because they come with them. Most trucks come with a radio. turn the dang thing on. If you got a radio, turn it on. You can turn your squelch up so far that literally you would have to be like, from me, you would have to be from here to this truck, or maybe, you know, this truck. You would have to be that far apart for you to hear him. You know, that's what the squelch is for. You can adjust it up, and you know, where somebody has to be right beside you to hear you, so you don't have to listen to the racket all day. But I'm very strong about CB radios and trucks, very strongly. I feel very strong about that. So anyway, I'm gonna cut it out right here. So y'all have a good day, and leave your comments below how you feel about CB radio, and if I can answer any questions, I would love to help y'all. You know, if you don't know nothing about them, I'd love to help you any way I can, because that's my thing, is CB radios. So that's my thing. So y'all have a good day, good weekend, safe travels. If you're at home, enjoy your time at home, and I'll probably catch y'all about Tuesday morning, because I'm done now. I'll see you. All right, guys, so the end, mission complete. So this is what we ended up with. I'm gonna eventually get another one to go on the driver's side, just so it looks that that's the star gun mount. Coax ran through the factory grommet. The only thing I don't really like about it is the way these Kenworth mirrors are. This pole, this rod, the mirror thing, it kind of comes out at an angle, and you can't change them. Like, you can't straighten it up. So when you're standing in front of the truck, you can't really see it, but it's kind of, the antenna's pointing kind of in like this instead of straight out. And the reason why we put the antennas on an angle is for a couple reasons. One more so than the other. One is, if you stood it straight up, when you're going down the road, the wind will bring it back, and the closer you are to this stack, it's metal, so there's reflect off of this antenna. Anything around it that's metal is going to have reflect. So we try to keep it away from this. Number two is, it's so tall. It's a pretty tall antenna, so the way it is right now, it's about the same height as the stack. You can't really tell from right here, but going down the road, it'll pick up a little bit, but it won't, you know, I've had a much bigger antennas on trucks before, but this one's pretty. This is about the same size as the Wilson 2000, the same length. So it's not to look cool or, you know, anything like that. It's mainly just to keep the height of the antenna down, and for me, it's to keep it the furthest I can get away from this metal stack to keep the reflect down, and reflect is what drives your SWRs up. So and I might go back and put some heat shrink at the where it screws in. I got some heat shrink that I'll probably end up take this connector off and put heat shrink over it, just to try to keep some of the salt and the weather out, because we are up north, you know, and snow and stuff. So that's about it, man, and it's doing really good. I'm pleased with the outcome. So a lot better than it was, and I had so much mud on this step right here that I actually cleaned it off, because it was just from stepping in this. You can see my tracks where I got up in back and forth in that truck probably, I don't know, 8 or 10 times. So I've been cleaning my floor mats and wiping the step off and all that stuff, but pretty pleased. That's the first time, believe it or not, it's the first time I've ever ran coax through a factory grommet right there and kept it as factory as I could. So, and then I just unscrewed the coax, and it's up in the headliner there, so the factory coax. So Yep. But I did break my tablet mount when I was in the process of doing this, so I'll have to rig up something else for my tablet. So that's it. The Jeep and old girl with her big old bumper. But alright, we're gonna cut this one here. I'm gonna go home, edit this video, maybe put it out tomorrow. Today's Saturday, so it'll probably come out Sunday. Come out Sunday, give you drivers time to get some radios in your trucks. So, alright, man, y'all see me on the road, holler at me. I go by Mr. Clean on the radio. Holler at me, I always got it on. Catch y'all on the blacktop. I'll see you.
Fresh face, I look like Mr. Clean, how I manage.